Yo, what's up, guys? Today we're going to bring some absolute alpha from the Lambda protocol. In this video, we're going to give a quick overview of Lambda, how to mint tokens on the protocol, how to perform a multi-call, for example, mint more than one ticker, and how to deploy or create a token. All right, so here's the Lambda protocol Twitter. Follow them, of course. And on this link, you will find website, their application, their transaction explorer, and their white paper, and their Discord. Go join their Discord, guys. It's a fun time in there. But we're going to start with the white paper. We're not going to get into too much detail, but we're going to talk a little bit about what this protocol is bringing to Bitcoin. So the current state, right? Currently, we have many different protocols all focused on token minting and transferring. Some improve this by introducing some new operations to allow more functionality, but everything is still focused strictly on tokens. Why is that so? And why would the ecosystem stop there and not move on to bigger and more exciting stuff like staking, farming, yield, AMM, and much more? And that's where the idea was born. So these other tokens, guys, they are working on these things. It's just that when BRC and other token standards were created, they only had the functionality of, DMT, deploying, minting, and transferring tokens. There is, these things in the works, but what's special about Lambda is that on the back end, Lambda can perform smart contracts already. So it is natively built into here to be able to just perform smart contracts that will allow all of these things to take place. In here, you can read as much as you want, and it'll explain pretty much how to use the protocol, but that's what I'm here to do for you guys. One thing, though, is that probably just the most important thing is this rule to adhere to. Each contract function is either executed fully or not at all. It must not be executed halfway and mutate persistent state. Okay, so we'll talk about that later in the video, but really this is the most important thing as I would say, a regular user of the protocol. So we'll go back to this tree. We will look into applications. So the first thing here to get started is you're going to need to use a Unisat wallet. Okay, guys, so there is two buttons here, Unisat or Xverse. This is beta, right? So just when they built this website, right, they built both of these here, but start with a Unisat wallet and a Taproot address during the experimental phase. We are going to connect our wallet here. It is going to bring up this prompt. We are going to connect. Here you can send Bitcoin to the bridge. Lambda is extremely efficient. It only costs about 100 sats per transaction to mint a token on their end. I'm going to only send, $4 of Bitcoin over there. You could wrap, and this will bring up your prompt to send. Now in here, you cannot edit the gas fees. And since gas fees are just insane right now, guys, I am going to reject this. I'm going to go over to their Twitter, and down here, they give some good explanations on how to mint and how to deploy tokens. But here, right here, it says, if you'd like to mint a token, check out our thread here, how to mint Lamb. And it gives the actual bridge address. I'm going to go ahead and send Bitcoin directly from my wallet to that bridge address so I can customize my gas fees, because it's just these GGNs that are out here right now, guys. So we're going to send, like we discussed, very small amount of Bitcoin. 0.01 is max, but you don't need anywhere near there. We're going to go ahead and send 0.0001 Bitcoin. We're going to check mempool. We're just going to go fast. We got to go fast, guys. So this is going to be sending a small amount of Bitcoin over to the Lambda side. So this is bridging this Bitcoin over to PBTC. You can find these Transaction Explorer. This Transaction Explorer is going to be where you want to go to find out if you have received your PBTC or not. You can find it here in the transactions. It'll show you all the transactions on the Lambda side. This is just all the transactions that all the users are performing. Check token here. You can explore tokens. Bitcoin, right? This is the Lambda side, right? This is not Bitcoin, native Bitcoin. This is Lambda Bitcoin. So this is going to query here. It's going to show you protocol Bitcoin. So PBTC, Lambda Bitcoin. Once this transaction goes through, we are going to go check on here. We're going to put in our address. Right now, it's going to show us nothing. So right here, it will show up your balance of the token you looked up. So we're just trying to make sure that we got our bridge to Bitcoin there. As you can see, there is nothing here because our transaction has not cleared. So we're going to wait for that. Now that our transaction has confirmed, we are going to go back over to the Token Explorer. search query Bitcoin here for protocol Bitcoin, put in our address and get balance. Now we have 10,000 sats on the protocol side. We are ready to perform transactions on Lambda, guys. After that, we need to create a minting contract. Okay, so we're going to go over back to the website, the apps here, and go to DMT tool, mint, and we're going to mint a contract, guys. So we're going to mint a minting contract. To mint, obviously, you need to mint a token that already has been deployed. To find which tokens have been already deployed, you'll go over to back to the Token Explorer. You can go to contracts, and contracts here will show you all of the contracts here. So it's telling us this is the contract. This transaction count is actually just in the last 24 hours. So Lamb has been, minted more than 336 times. This is just the count for the last 24 hours, right? Because that's what DMT is performing. It's a DMT, right? A deploy, mint, or transact. It has been performed 318 times. And as you can see, all these tokens have been here. It won't show up on here until you perform at least one mint on it. So we'll talk about that when we go to make, generate, or create a token. I won't actually populate on here until we go to mint. But what you do is you can basically look at these contract IDs. Let's say we want to mint Lamb. Okay, so we'll copy that whole contract ID. We will paste that there into the token contract, and we'll click mint. What this is going to bring up is it's going to bring up the inscription. This is just, the JSON, the text in here, and the fee, and what wallet you want to send it to. What this inscription is going to create is it's going to create an inscription that will get sent to our wallet, and that inscription is going to be a minting inscription. This isn't actually the token. When you are creating this, you are just creating a minting contract, okay? Because what this contract is saying is it's calling on Lambda, right? It's calling on the protocol. It's saying perform an operation and calling these contracts. And what do you want to do? We want to perform this contract, okay, guys? We want to mint. Okay, so we're going to mint. And in here, you don't need to put how many tokens. It'll automatically mint the max amount that the contract calls for. So here, you could click create, and then waiting for payment, you click on this little icon there, click connected, pay with wallet, okay? And then you can sign and pay here. So I'm not going to do this, guys. So we are not going to actually create this inscription though, because this minting inscription is only going to perform one operation. It's only going to mint Lamb. But we want to, let's say we want to mint Lamb, Lambo, First, Rambo. Let's say we want to mint all of these with one transaction, okay? Well, what we need to do is we need to write a script, okay? So this might sound a little difficult, but it's actually very easy, and there's many of them copied and pasted around. Just ensure that you do read, you understand, like we discussed, what is performing here. So we want to perform a script that is going to mint all 4 of these tokens. How do we do that? How do we perform that? Okay, so what you can do is you can open up a notepad or any type of text document, however you like to format your text. Let's say we want to perform a mint of Lamb, okay? And let's say we also want to perform Lambo. So we're going to have to get the script for Lambo here. Right here, you can see it's going to say Lambo, perform Lambo, right? And as you can see, guys, the only differences between these scripts is this Lamb and this Lambo. So if you wanted to, let's say, create a script for First, go back over to your text file, you could paste this Lambo, Lambo, and you could change this to First. So First. So now this will mint First token. Let's say we want to perform another mint on Rambo. So now we have 4 scripts here, guys, which is going to mint Lamb, Lambo, First, and Rambo. In order to combine these scripts, you must put a operation at the beginning of this script, which is going to call for a multi-call. This right here, guys, is the function to perform a multi-call. I am going to put an end bracket here, just like that, and I'm going to put my scripts here inside of these brackets, and that is going to perform that function. In order to combine these scripts, though, you will separate them with a comma. So I'm going to delete that there, put a comma, delete this here, put a comma, and delete this here, put another comma. I will copy this whole script and place it inside of these brackets. And now you have this entire multi-call that you will create an inscription with, and that will call to perform mints on all of these tokens. So what we need to do now is make a minting inscription with this information inside of it. So we just take this, copy that, and we'll paste that into this inscription. And then we will connect and create this inscription. Pay with the wallet, sign and pay. It takes a second here just to populate. Here the Ching, we got the address up. And Lambda will refresh here. It'll show you that it has the payment. It'll show you that it's inscribing on the block, and it'll tell you that once it has minted to your wallet. Now that the transaction has cleared, we can see we have confirmation. We can go next. This tells us the inscription is now in your wallet. For Lambda protocol, you need to send it to yourself to execute it. Okay, so this part confuses people a little bit. Don't really need to click execute. It's just telling you you need to send it to yourself to execute it. I close out of here. I will go to my wallet. It shows here this script that we just created. I'm going to copy my address and send it to ourselves, guys. Now that the transaction has confirmed here, we can go back to the transaction explorer. We can look up transactions. We can see here, this is our wallet. It confirmed at that time. We performed a multi-contract. So we can look at this transaction. This is what was performed. And it minted Lambo first and Rambo. Okay, so in order to check that these are in our wallets, let's look up our token. Let's look up Lamb and put in our wallet address here and get balance. And now you can see, guys, we have 50,000 Lamb. And we could let's put in Lambo. And we'll query that. We will put in our address again. And again, showing our balance there. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to show how to deploy a token. So we're going to go back to Lambda app. I'm going to click on deploy here. Let's say for the name, we'll put, you know, we could put anything. We'll put XYZ. For the symbol, we'll put XYZ. Here it says max supply with decimals. So pay attention to this number. This is the number of the total supply, and this will be the number of per mint. So let's say we wanted to do 21 million. 21 million. That is the number that you need to put in order to achieve 21 million supplies, because there is decimals here. And then per mint, let's say we wanted to mint 1,000, right? So per mint, every time the contract is ran, it will mint 1,000 tokens. This is the number you would need to put in to have 1,000 tokens per mint. You hit create here, and just hit restart there. If you saw that, it was just telling me, hey, you sent the contract before. You just hit restart. And then here again, it shows us this inscription. This is going to be, what are we doing? We're calling on Lambda. We're going to call on a function to deploy. Okay. And then what are the arguments here? So we are going to give a name, the ticker, total supply, and how much per mint. Okay. And then put in your wallet address, send this to your wallet address, and then sign and pay. It'll send this deploy contract to your address, and then you just send that inscription to yourself like we did with the other inscription to mint the tokens. So you would get that new inscription here. It would have this script in it. You would run that script by sending it to yourself. And the reason that you have to send it to yourself, guys, is so that it's ensured that the wallet owner is agreeing to run the contract. If you were just able to send any contract to any address and Lambda would view that and run that script, you could potentially send a malicious thing like, hey, drain this whole wallet, run this script, and send it to another address. The way that the security function to ensure that the owner of the wallet is running the contract is that the contract is only true if the wallet owner is sending it to themselves. That's why it performs that. So these inscriptions are not the mints, guys. Okay, so don't just mint over and over again new minting contracts. These are just minting contracts. They're not the mint. Okay, so when you send it to yourself, that's what performs the mint. You sending it to yourself, Lambda views this contract as true, and then it will run the contract that you wrote on the inscription. Also, this transactions, it can be pretty useful if you don't want to write your own scripts, right? We kind of went over how to write your own scripts here, but this transaction will show you these wallet addresses, what they're running. They're running multi-contracts, okay? What time they ran, what the block height was. And as you can see here, there's some errors. Execution failed, mint more than one block. Okay, so that's something we did not cover, which is you can only mint one time per block per address. So if you were to write a script that were to call out Lambo, let's say 2 times, it would fail because you tried to mint Lambo twice within one block. You have to wait till the block clears. You wait till your transaction clears. Then once your transaction clears and that block is complete, then you can resend that inscription to yourself, which will queue another mint for that block. And then once that block closes, then you can send it again to yourself. And this is a really cool feature because it prevents just mass bulk minting. It makes it really fair. You kind of have to be on your thing and watching this and wait for the block to close and then resend the transaction. And because of this, it leads to an extremely fair mint process. It's really cool that they have that like that. In here, what you'll see, as we discussed this, mint here more than one block. There might be some other errors. You'll see something, it'll be like they didn't have enough PBTC. So sometimes people are going to try to mint, do these things before they bridged any protocol BTC over. So if you do see that, it is nice to just go back here, make sure that when you did perform your function, it does show your address. It shows that it was a success. But a little cheat here is that you can see what other people are running. Like it ran a multi-contract. What contract did this person run? You can go over here and click on this transaction ID. It'll show you what they run. They ran a multi-call. They minted Rambo. They minted Lambo. They minted First. They minted Audit. They minted Shakes, Mint X, and Mint Lamb. Okay, so let's say you're like, hey, I like this script. This is an awesome script. This mints more than what I have going on. You could go ahead and copy this and then create a new inscription, right? And so you would go over to the app, mint, and you just need to type in any contract that already exists. Once the contract exists, that's how you can get this window to pop back up for you. You need to put in a contract that exists, pull up your mint contract. You can put in your new contract that you want or your new minting inscription, and then you can mint that to yourself. And then you can run that script, guys. Now, you can only mint once per block. Okay, so if you have 2 different inscriptions and they call out the same token, and you try to run them both, it's going to fail. And as we discussed before, super important thing about this white paper, this rules, guys. So we talked about it really as a user. This is the most important thing. Each contract function is either fully executed or not at all. So if you do have an error in your contract, or you try to double mint, or let's say Audit is minted out completely, and let's say it's part of your chain, and you attempt to run this script, well, this call is going to fail. If that call fails, the whole contract will fail. You won't get a single token. Okay, guys. So do be careful when you are making big multi calls that you aren't minting tokens out that are trying to mint a token that is already minted out. Because if you do, then your whole contract will fail and you're not going to get any of the tokens, right? So the Lambda app, they do have a Fairmint Explorer. So you can click on this Fairmint Explorer. And here it just automatically shows Lamb. Check progress, shows you per mint, how much you're getting, total supply. So this is the total supply currently, how much is minted out. We could look up Lambo, and Lambo is 100,000 mint, 13%. So it's a little bit more minted out. So let's say you had a contract with Mint Lambo and Lamb. Lambo's going to get minted out first. If it does, you won't get Lamb or Lambo. Okay, guys, so just pay attention to that stuff. Also on this transactions here, you don't just want to copy and paste any contract that people are creating, right? Because nobody can run a malicious contract by sending it to you, but you can copy and paste a malicious contract, create it, and then run it on yourself. So you really want to make sure that, just read it real quick. Just make sure you're just minting. Hey, I'm just calling on DMT. I'm just trying to mint, and these is what I'm trying to mint. You're going to be safe. No big deal. There hasn't been any contracts yet that have been created that have been malicious, as far as I know. But in the future, once there's more money flowing around here, you know, there's going to be scams. So it is going to be very important that the user really pays attention, especially early on in the project when we are writing our own scripts. And there's not just a nice little clean database that we just click on a button and it auto creates the mint contract for us, or the auto creates the deploy, or auto creates, you know, maybe a liquidity pool type contract where we can lock our tokens into, and it'll enable us to swap tokens back and forth with a liquidity pool, right? So there's going to be all kinds of contracts that get made that are going to allow us to play all kinds of games. And that's really the power of Lambda, is that it's just built in on the back end, right? They allow for smart contracts. So all the stuff we discussed, these AMMs, these automated markets and liquidity pools, right? That's what AMM is. It's just liquidity pools. And it's really just going to bring a lot of the stuff that we do on the other chains like Ethereum and Polygon and Solana. It's just bringing it to Bitcoin, and it's bringing it fast. That's why Lambda protocol, I think, is definitely a winner right now. If Lambda is not the winner, whatever wins is going to be a protocol extremely similar to Lambda, because this is what is bringing functionality in DeFi to Bitcoin. All right, guys, take care.